up and starting in right. Matt Rogelstad will DH today. Batting sixth and starting at first base, Peachy Ballette. Carlos Arroyo is in left field hitting seventh. Rene Rivera does the catching, and hitting ninth, playing second base, is Young Cho. When the Quakes come up against Felix Hernandez, they're going to hit like this. Reggie Willits starting things off. He is the center fielder. Erick Aybar at short. Mike Napoli is doing the catching today, and in the number 3 spot, Jared Abruzzo, his first appearance in the series, will clean up and DH. Greg Porter will be at first base. Batting sixth in left field is David Gates. Adam Pavkovich is at third base. Rancho Melgarejo hitting eighth and playing in right field. And B.J. Weed, the number 9 hitter, at second base. Brandon Cooney is the plate umpire today, and Jeremy Sparling is out on the bases. After the ball game today, the 66ers will have their first day off. They will have played 34 straight games. So they will be off tomorrow, and then this road trip will continue with a 3-game series at Maverick Stadium against the High Desert Mavericks Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday we'll have the game for you, radio and internet, beginning at 7. Wednesday's game, which is a 7:05 game, we will only carry on internet. We will be preempted by another program that is airing on KVCR Wednesday. And then Thursday is that 10 a.m. morning game, so we will only be on the internet for that game. So only one of the 3 games in High Desert will be on the radio. Gonzalez up there, and as he has so often this year, hits the first pitch of the game. This time he bounces to short and is thrown out by Aybar. 1 pitch and 1 away. For those who missed the game last night, we had Gonzo on the pregame interview, and I asked him about swinging it a lot of first pitches when he comes up to start a game. And he said, obviously, you're looking fastball, but a lot of pitchers have noticed he has chased the first pitch as Jesus Guzman takes a strike. And he has started to see more changeups and breaking balls, but that first pitch he swung at looked like a fastball. 0-1 to Guzman. Right-hander waiting. Wilson's next one is hit back to third base into the Quakes dugout. Jesus 1 for 4 last night and also drew a walk. He has hit in 4 straight, 5 hits, and hitting .295 in 17 games. Wilson's 0-2 pitch is inside, 1-2 the count. Guzman against the Quakes is right at .250, 5 for 20, couple of doubles and a couple of RBIs. Wilson's pitch swung on and fouled back, so Jesus stays up there. I didn't notice, but Wags passing a note along that Gonzalez, when he was running out that ground ball to lead off the game, was limping a bit going down the line. So hopefully there's not more to it. Next one is upstairs, 2-2. They did the bone scan on John Nelson today, who has been out. His last game was the 11th. They are calling it an abdominal strain for the moment, as Wilson's 2-2 pitch to Guzman swung on and missed, outer part of the plate. So Jesus down on strikes, 2 gone in the first inning for center fielder Gary Harris. Guzman has fanned in 15 of his 18 games, but he has not struck out more than once in any of those games. Anyway, they don't have the results of Nelson's bone scan. They are hoping to find out tomorrow. Since we don't have a game, that means Tuesday we should have a full report by the time we hit the airwaves. Gary Harris, first pitch swinging, grounds it into shallow right. A nice play by B.J. Weed, but his throw pulls Porter off the bag. So that'll be a base hit for Gary Harris. The ball wound up about, almost 10 feet on the grass in right. So T.J. Bond coming up with a runner on base. By the way, that hit for Gary Harris has extended his hitting streak. It is now a season-high 7. T.J. Bond checking the batting gloves before he gets in there. T.J. 1 for 5 last night, fanned twice. He has 3 strikeouts in 7 at-bats in the series. Has struck out in 14 of his last 44 at-bats. Takes a first pitch strike from Wilson. That would cover 14 games. Bond has struck out just 3 times in his previous 10 games. T.J. hitting .314, 4 home runs, 19 driven in. Phil Wilson threw the ball very well in his last start. There goes Harris. The pitch is low. The throw to second base is not in time. Gary in there with a head-first slide. Napoli's throw was on the second base side of the bag. Shortstop Erick Aybar had to cut across the bag to catch it. And Gary Harris going in head first, able to avoid the tag. Gary hadn't really been stealing a lot of bases of late. It's only his second in 20 games and his 7th of the year. The Sixers have 11 steals in their last 7 games, and they've only had 2 runners caught. 1-1 to Bond. Now a pickoff to second base, close, but not in time. Aybar, the shortstop, trying to squeeze in between Harris and the base, and almost got him. Phil Wilson last time out against Visalia here on the 11th. Through 6 scoreless innings, allowed just 3 hits, and that was his best start of the year. The right-hander 2-3 with a 760 earned run average. Bond fouls the pitch back to the left to home, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He gave up 7 runs in his 7 innings against the Sixers on April 30th. Most of the damage came very early. He has allowed at least 6 earned runs in 4 of his 7 starts. 23 strikeouts, actually 24 now, and 14 walks. This would be his 4th start at the Epicenter this year, where he's gone 1-2 with a 6.88 ERA. But that's lower than his ERA on the road. Next one to Bond, drops a little bit low. TJ with a count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wilson in his minor league career has made 6 starts against San Bernardino clubs. He is 2-2 with an ERA of just under 5. This would be his 3rd career start against him here at the Epicenter. Next one to Bond, waved out a miss. TJ way out in front of it. So his 4th strikeout in the series, the 2nd strikeout in the inning for Phil Wilson. Gary Harris left at second base, and at the end of a half inning of play, Inland Empire nothing, Rancho Cucamonga coming to hit.
Look up behind you. Look up behind you.
Right-hander Felix Hernandez making his 2nd start here at the Epicenter this year, and threw the ball very well when he beat the Quakes on the first. 6 scoreless innings. He allowed just 3 hits, walked 1, and struck out 9. And Inland Empire won the game 6-3. Last time out, Felix pitching the morning game against the High Desert Mavericks. That would have been on Tuesday. And he gave up a career-high 10 hits. Reggie Willits, first pitch swinging, hits it the other way down to third. High throw, and Guzman pulls Ballette off the bag for an error. Jesus had the time, just made a bad throw. So Willits, who is 11 of 16 in steals, is out there to begin things in the Quakes first. That's only the second error made by Inland Empire in the last 8 games. Friday night here, when Juan Gonzalez made that second inning error, it snapped a string in which the Sixers had played 5 straight errorless games. They have made 41 this year. They came in tied for the fewest in the league. And here's Aybar. Runner goes. Willits got a good jump, and even though Rivera made a good throw, Willits has a steal. He stole that thing off Felix. Tremendous jump for him. So an error and then promptly a steal. The count 1 ball and no strikes to Aybar. Erick Aybar, hitting .349, was 0 for 3 last night. He's only hit .200 against the 66ers this year. A fine young prospect. He is also rated as the best defensive infielder in the Angels minor league chain, a kid who was signed out of the Dominican Republic in February 2 years ago. Carried a .315 lifetime average with him into this year after 2 seasons. And this season hitting .349. He is 3rd in the league in batting, 2nd in steals. He has 17 of those. And he pulls one down to first, backhanded by Vallette. He feeds Hernandez on the bag. Aybar retired, but Willits down to 3rd. And that'll bring up Mike Napoli. Napoli starting behind the plate today. He has been, when you look at the numbers between Napoli and Ryan Buddy, Napoli has fared better behind the plate. He has thrown out about 46% of all the base stealers, while Buddy is only at 22%. Infield back, and the first one from Hernandez low. And also the Quakes team earned run average is about 0.3 of a run lower when Napoli has caught. He was 0 for 4 last night, fanned twice. League leader in home runs and RBIs. Takes a big breaking ball on the inside corner. He has 39 hits, and 17 of those have gone for extra bases. He leads the league in slugging and would be tied for 4th in extra base hits. It's a fly ball into right. T.J. Bond going back, still going back to the wall, and has to play it off the fence. So Napoli will have an RBI double. Reggie Willits scoring an unearned run, and the Quakes have a 1-0 lead in the first inning. So the air is cast in for a run. Sixers have been charged with 27 unearned runs this year. 10 of those 27 have come in 2 different games. They were charged with 6 unearned runs here on Friday, and in an earlier game, they were charged with 4. So now Jared Abruzzo, the switch hitter, first appearance in the series. Hernandez starts him downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Abruzzo missing the first part of the season. He had a strained left hamstring and missed from mid-April until the end of the month. He is only in his 8th game, but he's hit .440 in the 7 he played. Swings and doesn't get it. 1 ball and 1 strike. His last game Tuesday against Visalia, he went hitless. And when these 2 teams first got together earlier in the month, Abruzzo in 2 games had 3 hits and RBI, but he also fanned 4 times. As Napoli out there at second in the first inning, as Hernandez misses in the dirt to even things up 1-1. Well, check it now. It's 2-1. It'll be interesting to see how Hernandez does today, because in his previous 2 starts in the sunlight, he has not been exceptionally solid. We mentioned he gave up a career-high 10 hits to the Mavericks in his last start in the day game, although he came away allowing just 3 runs in 6 innings. Abruzzo chasing an inside curveball that dropped down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And in that last start, Felix struck out a career-low 2 batters. Matter of fact, in his last 2 starts, he has only fanned 7 in 11 innings, well below his average. He has 43 strikeouts this year in 38 innings. Abruzzo hits it back a third base foul by the Rancho dugout. You look at the league leaders in strikeouts. You have Visalia's Ubaldo Jimenez with 59. Bobby Livingston, who had a career-high 10 last night, has 48. Felix with 43. So he would be tied for fourth. Teammate T.A. Fulmer right behind him with 41. 2-2 pitch. Took something off it and missed high to Abruzzo, 3-2. Hernandez 10-3 lifetime. This would be Felix's 21st career appearance and his 16th start. A dazzling strikeout to walk ratio. 134 career strikeouts and 36 walks in 107 innings. Napoli at second, 1 out, a run in. And the pitch on the way to Abruzzo is pulled foul far into the Sixer dugout. So Hernandez getting a new ball to work with. T.A. Fulmer would be the starting pitcher when the team starts the High Desert Series on Tuesday night. Coming off a brilliant performance against the Mavericks at home, he will draw left-hander Eric Henderson. Rich Dorman and left-hander Manny Parra will go on Wednesday night. And then in the morning game on Thursday, there will be Juan Sandoval and right-hander Khalid Balouli, who we did not see in San Bernardino because he had an injury. Hernandez misses outside, so he walks Abruzzo. The Quakes here in the first inning getting a runner on an error, an RBI double, and now a walk. That'll bring up Greg Porter. Felix Hernandez, coming into the game today, had allowed just 1 run in the first 2 innings of his starts. That was an earned run. The run the Quakes have scored to this point is unearned. Here's the left-hand hitting Greg Porter, and Hernandez first pitch to him on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Porter, a guy who can play either corner infield position. We saw him at third base last night. This would be his 9th game of the year at first. Greg hitting .310 with a home run and 17 RBIs. Takes a low and outside from Hernandez. 1-1 the count. Porter with a lot of strikeouts and rarely walks. He has 31 punch-outs, and he has only walked twice. That would be in almost 130 at-bats. Runners take their lead. Hernandez pitch, swung on a miss. Outer part of the plate. So the count to Porter, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Porter, a .305 hitter in the Midwest League last year. He had some sort of an injury, and as a result, did not actually play his first game of the year last year till the end of May. Takes a fastball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last night, with the Sixers winning 4-2, it was the first game in the Sixers' last 7 that was decided by less than 3 runs. The 2-2 pitch on the hands, an excuse-me check swing, fouled into the Quakes dugout, third base side. The Sixers winning with 4 runs last night. They had lost their previous 4 games when they had scored less than 5. Outfield straight away on Porter, and the pitch from Hernandez is a bouncer hit to the right side. Vallette is up with it, and he'll tag the runner. Moving up to second and third on the play, Abruzzo and Napoli. That would be the second out of the inning. But David Gates has a chance here to add to the 1-0 Rancho lead. The Quakes left fielder and number 6 hitter in the order. Rancho last night was held to a season low 5 hits. Their previous low had been 6, and that came in a game against the Sixers here earlier in the month. They have their 4-game winning streak snapped, and at the same time, the 66ers snapped a 4-game road losing streak. So they are once again back at 500 on the road at 11-11, while the Quakes are 9-10 at home. Gates hits a bouncer into right base hit. 1 run will score. Abruzzo stopped at third as Vallette cuts it off, and Rancho with a 2-0 first inning lead. Because of the error to start the inning charged to Jesus Guzman, Greg Porter's ground out would have been the last out of the inning, so any runs this inning will go down as unearned, and that would be the second of them. Runners on the corners for Adam Pavkovich. Mike Napoli scoring on the hit. David Gates and Mike Napoli responsible for a lot of the Rancho offense this year. Gates has 31 RBIs, second on the team only to Napoli's 38. Napoli the league leader, and Gates is right there among the league leaders as well. Pavkovich, the seventh man to hit in the inning, starting at third base today. Hernandez gets a breaking ball on the inside corner for a strike. Adam had 2 doubles on Friday and then went 0 for 3 last night. 3 for 17 against the Sixers this year. Friday night, his 7th 2-hit game of the year. Takes one inside, and the count 1 ball and a strike. Pavkovich hitting .244. No home runs, and has knocked in 4 runs this year. This is only the 15th time the Quakes have scored first in one of their games. Pitch is high, 2-1. That is the lowest total of any team in the league. They have won 9 of the 14 times this year when they have scored first. Hernandez from the stretch delivers, and Felix misses low and outside, so he's now behind 3-1 and having a tough first inning. The Sixers' road record, they're one of only 3 teams in the league that is at or above 500. In fact, the only team in the league that has a winning road record would be Modesto, and they are 11-6. Runners on the corners, 2-0 Quakes, and the pitch grounded to third. Guzman has it go off his chest, picks it up, throws to Ballett, and gets the out. So the inning is over, but Guzman's error on the first batter helps lead to 2 Rancho runs. And at the end of the first inning of play, it's 2-0 Quakes.
Hey, Quakes fans, how would you like to watch the game from the best seats in the house? Why don't you check out the right field cafe? There we got 2 recliners from the screen furniture. If you're in section 4, row 15, seats 4 and 5, you need to head on down to the right field cafe. You are selected to sit today's Living Space's best seats in the house.
Phil Wilson, coming into today's start, had a 9 ERA in the first inning, but he got the Sixers in the first inning, allowing 1 hit and fanning 2. And now leading 2-0 thanks to 2 unearned runs. The first 2 unearned runs behind Felix Hernandez this year, so overall the defense had played very well behind him. Matt Rogelstad, DHing today, will lead things off here in the Sixers' second. Rogie and then Ballett and Arroyo. Matt 1 for 5 last night, has a 4-game hitting streak, 6 for 16. And the left-hander takes one downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Rogelstad hitting right at 300 against the Quakes this year, 6 for 20, a double and a triple. And Wilson's pitch inside, 2-0. Phil Wilson, at one time in his career, his first year was 2000, was rated as high as number 6 on the Angel minor league prospect list. His first 2 years were pretty solid. His last 3, though, have been less than stellar. Last year he had a lower back injury, so that put him on the shelf for a while. This is high and away to Rogelstad, so he starts the leadoff batter in the second with a 3-0 count. Wilson, a 30-21 lifetime record, and the 3-0 is on the outside corner. His first 2 years, Phil was 20-7, but in the last 3, including this one, he's gone 10-14. 3-1, Rogelstad hits a little looper into left field, and a diving catch by David Gates in left field. Head first dive. Great play by the Quakes left fielder to take a hit away from Matt Rogelstad. One away in the Sixers' second, and here's Peachy Ballette. Wilson, because of some different injuries, has only made 32 appearances in his last 3 years. He had pitched in 55 games and worked quite a few innings as a youngster his first 2 years in the organization. Ballette, a first pitch ground ball to third. Pavkovich up with it cleanly and makes the play at first. 2 up and 2 down for Carlos Arroyo. Wilson was a third-round draft pick. He went to Poway High School down in the San Diego area. Big right-hander, 6'8", 6'9". Shortly after, he was drafted by the Angels after his final game in high school, as Arroyo fouls one back. He had mentioned that he had a lingering arm injury, which turned out to be nothing more than a muscle strain. The Angels signed him for a little more than $500,000. 2-0 Quakes in the second. Arroyo fouls the next one back to fall behind 0-2. Carlos hitting .309 has only twice gone 2 straight without a hit this year. And he launches one in the air to center. Going back is Willits. Now he stops and makes the catch. Sixers gone in order. So far, so good for Phil Wilson after 2 innings, picking up where he left off in his last start. And at the end of an inning and a half, it is 2-0 Rancho Cucamonga. Bottom of the second, 2-0 in favor of the Quakes. 200 runs in the first inning, and they will send up Ranzo Melgarejo, B.J. Weed, leadoff hitter Reggie Willits against Hernandez. Sixers, of course, first in the league in pitching, as they have been pretty much all season. You compare the numbers, team ERA of 3.27 coming in, and as Melgarejo fouls it back to start the second, 0-1 to the right fielder. The 66ers team earned run average is a little better than 0.6 of a run lower than second place Bakersfield. The Sixers, the Blaze, and Modesto are the only three teams in the league with ERAs under 4. The Sixers' earned run average this past week has been at 2. Melgarejo is jammed and fouls it back out of play. That would cover 6 games leading up to today. No balls and 2 strikes to Melgarejo. Kid who originally is from Cuba and then defected, makes his home in Miami. Outfield the other way toward right, and the pitch. Fastball blew him away. First strikeout for Hernandez. That one registering 91 on the gun, although Felix regularly throws about 95. Here's the number 9 hitter, B.J. Weed. B.J. with a 2-hit game last night. He has really given Inland Empire a tough time this year. He has a team-high 9 hits against the Sixers, and he jumps on the first one and pops it up into shallow left. Arroyo coming in. He'll make the catch, calling off Gonzalez. 2 up and 2 down. Here's the leadoff hitter, Reggie Willits, who reached on that air by Guzman to start the Rancho first, and that led to 2 unearned runs. The Quakes this year, and this would be the rubber game of the series, they have only won 1 home series. They have lost 2 others, and they have split 2. They have won a total of 3 series for the year. First one is inside, and that hit Willits on the leg, down around the ankle. So he has been aboard twice on an air and now hit by a pitch. That'll give Erick Aybar a chance to bat with somebody on base.
Number 3, Erick Aybar.
Felix Hernandez has hit 4 batters this year. You go back to a start that he had against the Jethawks back on the 26th. The other 3 men he hit this year all came in that game. Erick Aybar grounded out in the first inning. Batting from the left side, he is a switch hitter, has a look down at Bobby Meacham before he climbs in. Erick is the younger brother of Willie Aybar, who is a third base prospect in the Dodger organization. Breaking ball stays high, 1 ball and no strikes. Originally, Erick wanted $250,000 to sign with the Angels, and he eventually settled for $100,000. Guzman up at third, pitch on the way. Is outside and low, 2-0 with the Quakes up 2-0 here in the second. Aybar, very solid defensive player, has a strong and accurate arm, runs pretty well. Doesn't figure to really ever be a power hitter. He takes a 2-0 strike, 2-1. But he does have a little pop in his bat. Some scouts have said they're a little bit concerned about his size. He is listed at 5'11". They project him, those scouts who question his size, project him as more of a utility guy down the road as he moves up to the higher levels. You don't have to look far, though, when you talk about a player's size, as Aybar hits a little nubber to the right, a home foul, 2-2. There is no tool that can measure the size of a man's heart, and in the Angel organization at the big league level, they've got a guy who really epitomizes that, David Eckstein. You look at Eckstein, and no one would have ever thought that he would have had a chance to sniff a big league game. There he is in Anaheim. Willits held on at first by Ballett. Hernandez from the stretch, and Felix delivers. He left it up in the zone, and Aybar lined it into left. Pitch was a little bit up and out, but not enough to where Aybar couldn't get his bat on it. So the Quakes have 2 on after 2 batters have been retired, and now Felix gets to look at Mike Napoli, who doubled to right field in the first inning to drive in his league-leading 39th run of the year. What a success story Mike Napoli has been. He was just named the Angels minor league player of the month for the month of April. During the month of April, he won 2 California League Batter of the Week awards. Hernandez pitch gets between the legs of Rivera. So the runners are going to move up 90 feet, and we'll have to wait to see how they scored. I couldn't tell from here if it was in the dirt or just a low pitch that went off the glove of Rene. They're going to charge him with a pass ball. Napoli with a chance to drive in 2 if he can get a single to the outfield. Napoli last year had his season cut short in early July when he went to have surgery on a bad shoulder. Hernandez fastball swung on and missed. 1 ball and a strike to Mike. The only year that Napoli in his career had been a regular was 2 years ago when he played 106 games at Cedar Rapids. Infield back, outfield straight away, and the 1-1 pitch fouled back. Napoli just did get a piece of it, and the count 1-2. Mike was a .249 career hitter in his first 4 years, a former 17th round draft pick. He had a total of 20 home runs in 728 minor league at-bats, so he's already hit 11 home runs this year. And would figure, since he is more than halfway to his career total, he would figure to pass his career total in 1 season. 1-2 on the way. Fastball on the hand blew him away. Boy, that's a tough pitch to catch up to, and that one hit 95 on the gun. So Hernandez pitches out of the jam, picks up his first 2 strikeouts in the inning. Quakes get a hit in strand 2, and at the end of 2, they lead the Sixers 2-0. Bill Wilson with 2 scoreless innings today after throwing 6 shutout innings in his last start, leading 2-0 as we head to the 3rd inning. Rubber game of the series. You know, if you go back to last season, the 66ers have not lost a series to the Quakes in their last 7 series. They have won 4 and split 3. Rene Rivera leads off in the 3rd and hits a lazy fly ball to left center field. Reggie Willits over to get it. So Rivera out. Rene who didn't play last night, and he was the guy who lined into that triple play here on Friday. That's the third Sixer batter out of the first 8 who have put the first pitch in play, and they have all resulted in outs. Young Cho now coming up to hit. Right-hander fouls Wilson's first one backhand out of play, 0-1. Cho has not played in the series. He was 0 for 3 Thursday in the finale at Maverick Stadium. That snapped a 5-game hitting streak. Hitting .293 in his 12 games, 4 doubles, 8 RBIs. Breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike, 0-2. Outfield straightaway. Wilson getting signs from Napoli, and the right-hander missing way outside and low. That'll run the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sixers have been hitting the ball pretty well, not only for the year, but especially of late. Cho hits a high fly ball left center field, and it will be Reggie Willits again. The center fielder makes the catch. He has had 3 straight putouts. That'll bring up the leadoff hitter Juan Gonzalez, who bounced to short to start the game. In the last 6 games, the Sixers as a team have hit .316. Their slugging percentage is a tick over .450, and their team on base percentage is a little better than .400. They had 9 hits in the win last night. Gonzalez takes a strike, 0-1. Gonzo hit his first home run of the year last night, a 2-run shot against Gene Toledo. This time he bounces one back to first base. That'll go foul. Wilson ahead of him, 0-2. Gonzalez also had a single. He had 2 walks and 2 stolen bases yesterday. He has gone 5 for 9 in the series. Gonzalez's home run last night was the first he has hit since June the 26th of last year. Takes a pitch inside, 1-2. Last year, Juan with West Michigan, Tigers Midwest League affiliate. His 2 RBIs last night were his first in 8 games. Wilson's pitch in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gonzo hitting .326. Currently 8th in the league in batting. His 45 hits would be tied for second, just 1 behind the leader. Wilson's pitch bounced over the mound, but Erick Aybar, crossing second base, fires to first. Bill Wilson looks pretty doggone good in 3 innings. A lot better than when we saw him in his first start against the Sixers. And it looks like he might be in for a fine afternoon. We will go to the bottom of the 3rd here at the Epicenter with the Quakes leading Inland Empire 2-0.
Number 29, Cruz.
Abruzzo to lead off the Rancho third against Felix Hernandez. Abruzzo drew a first-inning walk today. Switch hitter, batting left-handed, and he swings at the first one and whacks it deep into right center field. T.J. Bond won't get it. That's off the base of the fence under the scoreboard. So Abruzzo winds up with a stand-up double. Felix has allowed 4 hits now in his 3 innings. That would be the second double for Abruzzo. Rancho Cucamonga is last in the league in doubles, and they are also last in the league in triples, but they are second in the league in home runs. Here's Porter. Quakes had a leadoff man reach in the first inning on the air by Guzman that led to 2 unearned runs. Porter left-handed all the way, 6'4", and he checks a swing, hits a little foul tip at the plate, 0-1. He was a 45th round draft pick when he finished his career, a 2-sport star at Texas A&M. Although he really didn't hit all that well in college, more than likely spending a lot of time on the gridiron, taking away from time that he would have spent trying to hone his baseball skills. Hits it the other way into the third base seats. Pitch was on the hands, so the count is 0-2. Porter hit under 290 his last year at Texas A&M. He was a wide receiver and a tight end on the football team. Outfield straight away, Hernandez peeking back at second, and the pitch is hit late down the left field line, foul. Played baseball in high school, all district and all state as a shortstop. He was named the school's male athlete of the year. Stares out at Hernandez and gets one on the hands, ripped down the right field line. That ball is fair and gone. That's only the second home run that Porter has hit this year. His other home run came way back on April the 13th. So the Quakes now lead 4-0. The first 2 runs were unearned, but that one very much earned, those last 2. Third home run that Felix Hernandez has allowed. He gave up 2 in a start in Lancaster April the 21st. So a double and a home run in the inning. Felix already allowing 5 hits and 15 in his last 2 starts. That would be less than 9 innings. He had not allowed more than 7 hits in a start until he gave up the 10 in his last outing. David Gates, RBI single first-time up takes high. Something about pitching in the sunlight has not exactly agreed with Felix this year. He has not had a horrible start yet, but his 2 worst starts coming in today were the games he pitched in the day. Breaking ball in for a strike to Gates, and the count now 1-1. Sixers have won each of the last 3 games that Felix has started, and in those 3 they gave him pretty good run support, but now they're in a 4-0 hole. Ground ball hit hard back to third. That's down the line. David Gates with his second hit and heading for second base will be in there with a stand-up double. So a double, a home run, and another double. The Quakes have 3 doubles today. Remember, they were last in the league in that category. So Hernandez now giving up 6 hits. Nobody out in the inning, and Adam Pavkovich will be the next hitter. He checks in with Bobby Meacham and now heads back to the home plate area. Pavkovich, who grounded out in the first inning, nursing a bit of a slump, just 5 hits in his last 30 at-bats, 1 RBI in his last 8 games. Although, you look at his clutch numbers this year, well, let's see, 208 runners in scoring position. And Hernandez missing outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Pavkovich, an 11th round draft pick, a year ago by the Angels, played his college ball at Alabama, a member of the NCAA All-Tournament team last year. Hernandez pitch on the way, popped up into shallow right center field, looking up into the glare, Bond and Harris. It'll be Gary to make the catch. Gates will tag at second, and the throw cut off by Gonzalez, who then turned to throw to third, but there was no one there, as Guzman had broken down the line to back up Gonzo. First out of the inning. And here's Rancho Melgarejo. The 66ers, with 9 come from behind wins this year, have twice overcome deficits of 3 runs, but never more than that. Now, Melgarejo, who fanned in the second. The Sixers will bring the infield in. Hernandez from the stretch, and Rancho hits it down the right field line out of play. Last night in the California League, the Lancaster Jethawks got 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat Visalia 12-11 and remain 2 games behind the Sixers. Jeff Baker of Visalia had 3 hits, including a home run and 4 RBIs. Melgarejo fouls it at the plate, 0-2. Doc Brooks of the Jethawks, a home run, a pair of singles, and he drove in 3. Modesto was an 8-5 winner against Bakersfield. Knuckleballer Mark Camoli, the loser, is now 1-6 this year. High Desert shaded Lake Elsinore 5-4 to snap a 7-game losing streak. 0-2 to Melgarejo as a little dribbler hit to third. Gonzalez backhands it, fires in the dirt. Rene Rivera unable to tag David Gates. That is a fielder's choice RBI for Melgarejo. Gonzalez throwing across his body, so his throw to the plate was just slightly off the mark, and as Rivera reached back to tag Gates, he missed him as David went into a slide. So it is 5-0 Rancho, a 3-run third inning. You might wonder, well, what's the most runs Hernandez has allowed in a game this year? He had not allowed more than 3 in any start. He has given up 5 today, 3 of them earned, and the Sixers, to say the least, are in a lot of trouble. Phil Wilson is throwing the ball well in 3 innings and has allowed just 1 hit. Here's B.J. Weed. Wide open stance, and the first pitch to him is outside, 1-0. Weed hitting from the left side against Hernandez. Only 1 out in the inning. Weed is the 6th man to hit here in the 3rd. In that High Desert victory last night, David Bradley in relief got the win through 2 innings and struck out 4. Stockton, in a game that took 2 hours and 11 minutes, beat San Jose 1-0. Then Kiter, 4 scoreless innings, picked up the victory over Anthony Pannone. Runner goes. The pitch is popped up into shallow left. Arroyo coming in a few steps to get it. Melgarejo has to head back to first. So 2 outs for Reggie Willits, who has reached on an error and has been hit by a pitch. In the California League today, Modesto at Bakersfield. Right-hander Mark Sauer tries to win his 5th for the first-place A's, who lead the North by 2.5 games. Visalia's at Lancaster. Ben Crockett, 1-4 going for Visalia. The Jethawk pitcher not listed. Lake Elsinore at High Desert, Chris Turney and Glenn Woolard. And San Jose at Stockton, pitchers not listed. Pitch is bunted behind the plate. That'll hit the screen. So no balls and a strike to Reggie Willits. Quakes first in the league in attendance, averaging just over 3,600. They've got a great-sized crowd here today. Lake Elsinore is second, just over 3,500. And Inland Empire would be third. They have averaged a little over 2,800. Hernandez pitch, grounded back a first, foul ball down the right field line. So Melgarejo heads back to first, making a U-turn around the shortstop area. The count to Willits, no balls and 2 strikes. 5 runs on 6 hits for the Quakes. No runs on 1 hit for Inland Empire. They had a rare close game last night. First time in 7 games a Sixer outcome was decided by less than 3 runs. Last night, the 19th time they had allowed 3 runs or less. Runner goes, they pitch out. Rivera down to second. Melgarejo stops running. Gonzalez goes to Ballett. Ballett goes back to Gonzalez, and he makes the tag. That'll be a caught stealing 2-6, 3-6, and that will end the inning. By the way, when the 66ers have allowed the opponent to score at least 5 runs, they have won just 3 of 12 games. So the Quakes, here in the 3rd inning, come up with 3 more runs, 2 of them on the home run down the right field line by Greg Porter. There were 3 hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the 4th inning. Wags will be with you for the middle 3. And at the end of 3, Rancho 5, Inland Empire nothing.
All right, so if you don't want to have a I got 2 questions. According to his bio, how tall is that guy? Is it A, 5'9", B, 6'4", C, 6'7", or D, 4'2". It's according to the bio, which is A, B, C, or D. The answer is A. This is the other side of the season. You win, the second win, great innovation. Good job. You also got the little thing to throw out.
Well, the 66ers have dug themselves an early hole and will try to climb back out of it as we head to the top of the 4th inning of play. 5-0 in favor of the Quakes. It'll be Jesus Guzman to lead it off for Inland Empire, followed up by Gary Harris and T.J. Bond. Here's Phil Wilson's first offering with the 3rd baseman up. Fly ball into right center field, going back to the wall. It will bounce off the wall on 1 hop, and Jesus Guzman has a leadoff double here for Inland Empire. A first extra base hit of the ball game for the 66ers. So hopefully that will bring some life to this stagnant offense here in the early going. Here comes Gary Harris to the plate. Just a second hit given up by starter Phil Wilson for the Quakes. The other, a infield single by Gary Harris, who is up at the plate right now. 3rd baseman Paskovich playing up again. That's a towering pop fly heading toward the 3rd base dugout. Paskovich on the railing makes the catch. Good concentration there from Paskovich as he had to look down at the dugout to see where he was at. That's the first out of the inning, and it'll bring up T.J. Bond. Bond 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Phil Wilson so far with 2 Ks, no walks. Quake starters have done very well for themselves as of late in the last 7 games, a 4-0 record with a 2.45 ERA. Right-hander versus right-hander. Guzman at second, pitch on the way, and it bounces up there. A 1-0 the count. B.J. Weed, the second baseman, Erick Aybar, the shortstop, will combine to try to keep Guzman close to the bag here. Center fielder Willits shaded about 10 steps into left. The stretch in the 1-0 to Bond. Swung on, he chased one outside and fans on it. A 1 ball and 1 strike to count. TJ coming in hitting .314, went 1 for 5 with a pair of strikeouts yesterday. Been having a problem striking out lately. Already struck out 3 times, now 4 times in this series. Wilson turns around after a late kick and looks Guzman back towards second as Jesus goes about halfway back, playing a little cat and mouse game here. Count remains 1-1. Wilson comes set at the chest, his glove away from his body. The 1-1 pitch across the knees for a called strike. Count moves to 1-2. Bond has driven in 19 so far this year. If he can get Guzman in, it will become the 4th 66er to drive in at least 20. The others being Rene, Rivera, Gary Harris, and John Nelson. The 1-2 on the way to Bond, inside. 2-2 to count. The Quakes got on the board in the bottom of the first inning, getting 2 unearned runs as they sent 7 men to the plate. Got another 3 in the third on the 2-run homer by Greg Porter. As the 2-2 pitch misses outside, that'll run the count full. And a fielder's choice RBI by Rancel Melgarejo that scored David Gates. 3 extra base hits in the Quakes' third. Guzman on second, 1 down. Sixers trailing 5-0. Wilson will separate his hands and look Guzman back once again. The finale here of a 3-game set. These 2 teams split the first 2. Rancho winning on Friday 11-5. The 3-2 pitch, check swing. They're going to say Bond went around. Ball bounced away from Michael Napoli. He'll throw down to first to complete this strikeout, but moving up to third on the wild pitch will be Jesus Guzman. And that'll bring up Matt Rogelstead with a man on third and 2 outs. Rogelstead played second base last night, DHing here today. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out to left. 66ers taking last night's game by a final of 4-2 in 10 innings. Rogelstead swings at a breaking ball and tips it. 0-1. Matt has driven in 6 in his last 6 games. He's on a modest 4-game hitting streak right now, batting .265. Hitting .250 with teammates in scoring position and 2 outs up on the board. Here's the 0-1 from Wilson. Swung on into left field. Will it fall? Diving catch by Gates. He made it. David Gates out left had very little time to react. An awkward slide as it was more horizontal than vertical, meaning more toward the left field line than it was coming in toward the infield. But somehow he got his glove underneath it, didn't trap it, made the catch on the fly, and robbed Matt Rogelstead of an RBI and keeps the Sixers off the board here in the 4th. No runs. The double by Guzman. He's left at third base. That'll do it for the Sixers here in the 4th. We'll head to the bottom of the inning. Still 5-0 Quakes.
You guys know it's always don't hold ball. There's only one rule here, and that's don't go on the dirt. If you lose these, you keep on the grass. You guys ready? Full contact that way. On the mark, get set. Run! Okay. You got to get a couple of ladies to the other night, and they were all over than you two are. Wow, that kind of is. I think Mike is the winner. Now, Vince, congratulations, you are the winner of the four-minute set race. And that wasn't really very full contact at all. It was not a big party. We got this great job. Way to go. You're still in that case on the 4 minutes. That's the story. And you had a great time doing it. Hey, fans, kids, well done. We're on the bases. After the game, stay tuned.
Felix Hernandez will face the top of the Quakes order here in the bottom of the 4th inning. His 66ers already trailing 5-0. It'll be Reggie Willits leading off, followed by Erick Aybar and Michael Napoli. Kid K, anything but here today. Just one strikeout along with one walk. The corner infielders even with their respective bags as Hernandez delivers high on a fastball, 1-0. Seggs mentioned it earlier on. Felix's 2 worst starts have come during the day, and he has not looked sharp at all here this afternoon in the sunlight. Misses low. Once again to Willits, 2-0. Reggie Willits reaching on an error by Jesus Guzman to lead off the game, stole second and scored. A line drive down the third base line. That is a fair ball and will be extra bases for Willits. All the way in the corner it goes. Arroyo digs it out, will make the relay throw and hold Willits to a double. That is the 3rd time out of 4 innings tonight, this afternoon rather, that the Quakes leadoff man has reached. And it'll bring up Erick Aybar. The 4th extra base hit now, 5th extra base hit for the Quakes in this ball game. We're only in the 4th. Here's Aybar with a single and an infield ground out. Hernandez out of the stretch with a fastball, a swing and a miss. Clocking 91 miles per hour up on the scoreboard out in left field. Vallette at first, Guzman at third, playing near about a step and a half off the infield grass. There's the 0-1 on the way to Aybar, and it's inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. 66ers staff as a whole has struggled a little bit more on the road this year than at home, as what's to be expected, coming in a 4.08 earned run average away from San Bernardino. Aybar fouls one back. It's 1-2. Erick, a switch hitter, as is the leadoff man Willits, batting from the left-hand side against the righty Hernandez. Aybar has driven in 12 this year. He's now 5 for 22 in this series against Inland Empire. Or rather, overall against Inland Empire. Ground ball to Hernandez. They now have Willits caught between second and third. Throw down to Gonzalez at second. Now over to third where Guzman applies the tag and will look Aybar back to first base. Good heady play by Hernandez to turn and look back and spot where Willits was, and I think that ball came back to Hernandez so quickly, and Willits had a decent leadoff second that he really was unsure about where to make his first step toward. He wound up getting caught up, and Gonzalez snuck around from the backside. That will go down 1-6-5. Aybar reaching first on the fielder's choice. Here comes Michael Napoli. He's got an RBI double, which plated Willits in the first, and also struck out to end the second with 2 on. And that has been the lone strikeout for Hernandez so far. Ironic that it's against one of the best hitters in the league. First pitch is popped up, first base side, about 20 rows back, and it's 0-1. Michael Napoli awarded the other day, the beginning of this series on Friday night, with the Player of the Month award by the Anaheim Angels organization for the month of April. He's failed to get a hit in just 3 games this year, and all 3 have come against Inland Empire. On May 1st, May 2nd, and again last night. Felix ahead in the count at 0-1. Right-hander versus right-hander. Pitch on the way, it's upstairs, and Rivera cocks back but does not release the ball toward first base. Count now even at 1-1. Napoli had a 9-game hitting streak, halted last night. Had an 18-gamer earlier this year. Pitch on the way, fastball around belt level, and Napoli swings through it. That one registered 94 miles an hour. 1-2 the count. That 18-game hitting streak, the longest in the California League this season. Napoli does have a penchant for striking out. Struck out in all but 6 games so far this year. Total 34 times and 115 at-bats coming in. The 1-2 pitch is fouled off over the seating ball and into the concourse area. So with that strikeout earlier now, it's now 35 strikeouts and 117 at-bats. Napoli fourth in the league in batting with a .339 average. First in home runs with 11, including that big 3-run job on Friday against Inland Empire in the 11-5 Quakes win. Napoli's back foot, a little bit off kilter with his front foot. There goes the runner. Aybar pitches upstairs, throw down to Gonzalez, safe. Aybar just got his tippy toe in there in time. Stolen base for Aybar, number 18 on the year, came in second in the league in stolen bases. 2-2 the count. As a whole, the Quakes are second in the Cal League in stealing, but they've also been caught a league high 32 times. So now a runner in scoring position with one out. 2-2 on the way. There goes Aybar again, and it's fouled off out of play right field side. Count remains 2-2. Napoli has driven in a league-high 38 runs so far this year. He's got 8 in his last 6. 66ers trying to stay within reach here and keep this one respectable, already trailing 5-0 in the bottom of the fourth. The offense has been sleepy so far. 2-2 swing and a miss. Hernandez got him inside. That one hit 95. So Felix hopefully here starting to get some of his velocity that we didn't see in the first 3 frames. Second time he has struck out Napoli. It'll bring up Jared Abruzzo. Abruzzo, a catcher in the DH in that designated hitter role today. A walk, a double, and a run scored. Batting from the left-hand side. Driven in 6 so far this year as Hernandez comes set. He's hitting .429 with runners in scoring position. First offering to him, across the knees for a called strike. It's 0-1. Great day for baseball out here. Not too hot. There's a little bit of cloud cover out there. Slight breeze blowing out toward right field. The 0-1, nope. Time called. Brandon Cooney jumping out of the way of that one. Hernandez was about halfway to 3/4 of the way into his windup. Usually you're taught just to let the ball go there, let it fly, even if you know time is called in order to avoid any injuries. Hernandez holding on to the ball there. And his momentum carried him off the first base side of the mound. The stretch in the 0-1 is on its way, and it's on the outside corner for a called strike. So Felix ahead of Abruzzo at 0-2. Abruzzo already with 4 multi-hit games on the year. Got a double in this one. Gonzalez keeping Aybar close at second, who attempted to steal before in a hit and run. The 0-2 misses low. Count now moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Quakes with 5 runs, 3 of them earned on 7 hits. 66ers have gotten just 2 hits off of Quake starter Phil Wilson. Hernandez peeks back towards second a few times, now brings it to the plate. The 1-2, grounded softly to the right side. Hustling is Hung Cho. He'll make a sidearm toss to first base, and that will be the final out of the inning. So the Quakes are done here in the bottom of the fourth. Held to no runs for the second time this afternoon. They waste the leadoff double by Reggie Willits, the only hit of the inning. No 66ers errors, and Erick Aybar left stranded in scoring position. We have played 4 full here at the Epicenter. 66ers trailing the Quakes 5-0.
All right, Jake, you are in Pablo Papa. You got to work. Papa, you get so win. Just for a pack of candy. We're going to give you one there anyway. You get one there. Here comes number 2. He's under it. Number 7 back for the body. That's number 2. Go ahead and give me that one, Jesus, for the effort. You got to get this yourself. He's under it. All right. 3 for 3. Wake up, Reggie. You want 3 of these back up. So listen. 2 for 6. Possible Randy says the winning the possible pop-up game. They grab safety from here, Canyon Lily.
It'll be Peachy Ballette, Carlos Arroyo, and Rene Rivera to face Phil Wilson here in the top of the 5th inning. 66ers down by a score of 5-0. Ballette grounded out in his only at-bat so far. 66ers have managed just 2 hits off of Wilson. They had been hitting .316 in the previous 6 games coming in today, with a .451 slugging percentage and a 4-on-2 on-base percentage. First pitch by Wilson upstairs, 1-0. But the 66ers have been anything but productive so far here today. The 1-0 misses low, and it's 2-0. Ballette has hit .389 when leading off an inning this year. Jesus Guzman reached on a double last inning, the first leadoff man to reach today. That ball chopped at Darren Brown behind the third base coach's box. I believe the count is 2-1 to Ballette. Nobody out in the inning, base is empty. Peachy has 2 hits in the series so far. Single yesterday, went 1 for 5. The 2-1 check swing, fouled back to the screen. Oh, did it hit him? They're going to say it hit him. And Michael Napoli immediately protests. Looked like the way that ball had ricocheted, it went back to the screen. Maybe it hit Ballette's hand first and then hit off the bat. That's the only thing I can imagine. Because if it hit that hard off of his body, he'd be in some serious pain right now. Bobby Meacham challenges the call from the dugout. Ballette, the second leadoff man in a row to reach. Guzman failed to score last time around, got stranded at third base. 66ers leadoff men have reached now in 129 innings this year, scoring 72 times, pending what Ballette does. Here's Arroyo. Flew out to center field his last time around. First pitch as Napoli tries to frame it is outside. It's 1-0. '66ers error cost them early. Just their second error in the last 8 games led to 2 unearned runs for the Quakes in the first. 1-0 down and away. It's 2-0, and Napoli will go out to have a talk with Wilson. 66ers came in tied for the fewest errors in the Cal League with 40. And that digit will now be raised to 41. They've allowed 28 unearned runs so far this season. Napoli back in the catcher's box. Arroyo, a left-handed hitter, against the right-handed throwing Wilson. Here's the 2-0 on the way. Just missed outside, maybe by a half an inch. So Arroyo up in the count at 3-0 with Rene Rivera waiting on deck. Arroyo tremendous against righties this year with a .350 batting average, the 3-0. In there for a called strike, it's 3-1. 21 out of Carlos's 25 hits have come against right-handed hurlers. Carlos has that golden bat straight up in the air. Here's the 3-1 on the way, and it is outside. Ball number 4, first walk, issued by Phil Wilson. And the 66ers have 2 men on for the first time today. Here comes Rene Rivera. Rivera flew out to center field to lead off the 3rd inning. So the first real test here for Phil Wilson. Rene has driven in 21 in 29 games. Pitch on the way, and it is low, ball 1. Adam Paskovich, the third baseman, was up near the grass on the play. Wilson about to come set. Here's the 1-0 to Rivera. Slammed to left field, going back his gate to the track, and it goes over his head. Slow getting to third on the play is Vallette. He'll be waved around. Here comes Arroyo. The throw from Aybar to Napoli. The tag, safe. A 2-run double for Rene Rivera, a one-hopper that hit off the Angels billboard out in left field. Close play at the plate. The ball got there just about the same time that Arroyo was sliding in, and he just beat the tag of Michael Napoli. RBIs number 22 and 23 for Rivera. Still nobody out in the inning. Here's Young Cho at the plate. Pitch on the way. A chopper to third base where Darren Brown will handle it in the coach's box. Second extra base hit tonight for the Sixers. Cho 0 for 1 with a fly out to center field. Rivera with a very small lead off of second. Here's the 0-1 on the way. It's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. When the Quakes have given up 3 runs or less this year, they're a perfect 9-0. They've given up 4 or more runs 26 times and are only 8-18 in those situations. 5-2 in favor of the Quakes right now. Sixers trying to rally back. They've come from a deficit of 3 back to win a ball game twice this year. Ground ball to the right side, gets under the diving weed. Being waved around is Rivera. Slow to get to it is Malguerrero. He'll have no throw. Rivera scores an RBI single for Young Cho, and the 66ers now trail by just a deuce. Four consecutive 66ers reaching to lead off the 5th here. And that will draw a visit from Quakes pitching coach Keith Comstock. Juan Gonzalez next up in the order. No action yet in the Quakes bullpen. And it looks like Cesar Jimenez will jog out from the Sixers pen to start getting loose. Vallette got hit by a pitch to lead off the inning. Carlos Arroyo then walked on 4 straight pitches, moving Vallette up to second. Rene Rivera hit one over the outstretched glove of David Gates. A one-hopper off the left field wall that plated both Vallette and Arroyo to cut the deficit to 5-2. And then Cho, with a single to right field, scored Rivera. Looked like that hit by Cho as it went past Weed, diving to his left, may have hit the cutout where the dirt meets the grass, and it slowed the ball up quite a bit. Melgarejo was charging hard all the way, but by the time he got to it, it was too late, and Rivera was about halfway down the third base line. Gonzalez had that home run last night in the 5th to put the Sixers on top, 2-0. First home run of the year for Juan, not known for his power. Throw over to first base. Cho goes sliding back in. Sixers have not come from behind to win a game when they've trailed by more than 3 runs this year. There goes Cho, hit and run, ball hit to the right side. Weed dives on top of it, can't hold on. Safe all around. Should be a base hit, I would imagine. Tough play for B.J. Weed. If he would have come up with it cleanly, he may have had a play on Gonzalez, who we saw limping earlier and doesn't appear to be at 100% speed right now, but a tough play for Weed nonetheless. So Cho now at second. B.J. Weed making dirt angels there out near second base. Here's Jesus Guzman with a leadoff double in the fourth and a strikeout. Potential tying run now on first base for the Sixers as Wilson bounces one away. 1-0. Quakes have given up coming into action today, just 21 runs in their last 7 games. An average of 3 a game. That came after a 4-game stint where they allowed 47 runs. 3 of those games were against the Lancaster Jethawks, though, and those numbers are always a little bit skewed. Pitch is upstairs. It's now 2-0 to Guzman. 66ers with still nobody out in the inning. A golden opportunity to play some catch-up here. Jesus, a .295 hitter. And Weed will approach second base and receive the throw from Wilson as Cho goes back in standing. Jesus has driven in 8 so far this year. Hitting a lofty .367 with runners on base. Wilson out of the stretch, takes a couple looks at second, now delivers home, and it's upstairs. So Jesus has worked the count to 3-0. Wilson cannot afford to play around here, and Guzman may very well get something to hit here. Got to wonder if he's going to get the green light. It's on its way to the plate. It is low, ball number 4. And Phil Wilson, after looking brilliant through the first 4 innings, very shaky here in the 5th. The 5th inning is where Wilson has really hit a wall this year. Been pretty much awful, allowing hitters to bat .455 against him in the 5th frame. An ERA of 22.5. And those numbers holding true here today. Second walk in the inning, it loads the bases for Gary Harris, leading the team in RBI. Wilson delivers a first pitch fastball for a strike, 0-1. Harris with 25 runs batted in, coming in. Tied for 5th in the Cal League. The 0-1 pitch, a chopper, weakly hit to the second baseman. Weedy bobbles, flips to Aybar to get the runner at second, safe everywhere else. Coming in to score is Cho. Weed is having his problems here. Now they do get Guzman 4-6. No error charged because you can't assume the double play. Gonzalez moving up to third. Harris reaching on a fielder's choice. Give him an RBI. Run batted in number 26, and the score is now 5-4. Well, that was just a tailor-made double play. We took 2 steps in, was about to feed Aybar. It looked like Erick got to the bag in plenty of time and was ready to receive the throw, but Weed almost double clutched when he took the ball out of his glove. And he wound up losing it. Lucky to get the runner at second at all. First pitch to T.J. Bond over the outer half of the plate for a called strike. 0-1. So we've got runners at the corners with 1 out. The tying run now 90 feet away from the plate. Who would have thunk it? They faked it. Third go to first, and now they've got Harris caught up. Now the throw comes to the plate. Runner will score. Safe all around. Oh, the throw from the first baseman, Greg Porter, was well up the third base line. Coming in to score is Gonzalez. He'll get a stolen base. Harris up to second as Gonzalez steals home and ties the ball game. One of the few times I've actually seen the fake to third, go to first be effective. They had Harris caught up. Gonzalez broke for home, and it was just a bad throw by Porter. 0-1 the count to Bond still. He shows bunt, pulls back, and it's a called strike. 0-2. Tie ball game here in the 5th inning. T.J. Bond has already struck out twice. 0 for 2. Bill Wilson and the defense behind him has collapsed here in the 5th. Swing and a miss as Bond goes after a breaking ball low. The sombrero for Bond, 3 strikeouts and 3 at-bats. Here comes Matt Rogelstead as the 66ers bat around here. Rogelstead 0 for 2 with a couple of hard hit balls to left field. Batting from the left-hand side, runner on second, 2 outs. Ball hit sharply to the third baseman. Paskovich gets past him. Here comes Harris around to score. The 66ers have taken the lead at 6-5. RBI single for Matt Rogelstead. What a turn of events here in the 5th inning. And that will be it for Phil Wilson, who looked brilliant through the first 4. Bobby Meacham comes out to lift him. We'll get word on the new pitcher when we come back in just a moment. 66ers now lead the Quakes 6-5. The new pitcher for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes will be righty Dustin Griffith, who we saw last night. He was the final pitcher to enter the ball game and gave up the final runs to the 66ers, although he was not charged with them, as they were charged to Matt Wilhite. But Griffith did not do well with the runners that he inherited last night. He'll come in relief of Bill Wilson, who goes 4 2/3, gave up 6 hits, struck out 4 while walking 2, and he is responsible for Matt Rogelstead on first base. Here comes Peachy Ballette, who led off the inning, getting hit by a Wilson pitch, came around to score on the 2-run double by Rene Rivera. 66ers have now batted around 13 times this year, the 18th inning in which they have scored at least 4 runs. Griffith delivers high to Ballette. The count is 1-0. Inland Empire, a perfect 20 wins and no losses when leading after 5 innings this year. Griffith coming set. Here's a pitch on the way. That's smoked into left field, but Gates has a beat on it and will make the catch out in deep left field. So 2 pitches for Griffith, and he gets the job done. The 66ers, however, get 6 runs in the inning. They do it on 4 hits. No official errors in the inning for the Quakes, although a couple of miscues out in the field cost them. And the 66ers leave Matt Rogelstead on first base. 66ers now own a 6-5 lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning.
Congratulations to Mary Gafar of the Farmland Aid, Montana American Limited. He won a 3-team party at Boomer in Oakland. Mary Gafar of the Farmland Aid.
The final line on Phil Wilson for Rancho, 4 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs on 6 hits, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. The best he can hope for is a no decision. Meanwhile, Felix Hernandez will go back to work here for the 66ers. He has been given a gift here by his offense. Here's Greg Porter to lead things off. Already has a 2-run homer as he lifts one foul out of play behind the Rancho dugout. 0-1. Porter with that round tripper and a ground out to the right side. Now 19 runs driven in for Porter as he fouls one back. Excuse me, the ball bounced up there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Porter snapped a 5-game hitting streak last night. The 1-1 by Hernandez, a fastball outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Struck out 3 times last night, the 3rd time he has done that this year. Hernandez misses outside again, and it's now 2-1. Porter 0 for 4 yesterday. He's only gone 2 consecutive games without a hit 1 time this year. And of course, with that home run, that streak will continue. The 3-1 check swing, foul back to the screen. Now a full count. Unsure about the pitch count for Hernandez today, although he threw a ton of pitches in that first inning. Payoff pitch on the way, well outside. Porter draws a leadoff walk. Second free pass issued by Hernandez, plus 1 hit batsman. Here's David Gates with a double and a single. Also a run scored. Oh, it looked like the 66ers were left for dead, trailing 5-0 after 4. With an anemic offense, and Felix Hernandez looking far from sharp. But they get 6 runs on the board in the top of the 5th, and now work from out in front. First pitch to Gates, a high fly ball into right field. Bond will watch it go. 3rd hit of the ball game for David Gates. The Quakes retake the lead at 7-6. Home run number 9 for Gates came in tied 3rd in the league in home runs this year. There was no doubt left about that one whatsoever, as it just went under the scoreboard behind the right field wall. Here comes Adam Pavkovich. Second home run of the ball game for Rancho. Bases empty, nobody out. First pitch to Pavkovich is low, 1-0 the count. 66ers coming in and only giving up 1 home run in their previous 77 innings of work. As the pitch misses up and into Pavkovich, and Rene Rivera will go have a talk with Felix. 66ers pitching staff has now surrendered 21 home runs on the year, still amongst the lowest in the Cal League. Stepping back in is Pavkovich. There's a 2-0 on the way. It's upstairs. Pavkovich gets out of the way, 3-0. Both of the home runs today for Rancho coming with men on base. Out of the 37 home runs that the Quakes have hit, 23 of them have come with runners on. And that is the league high in the Cal League. Hernandez with a fastball. Thigh high for a called strike. It's 3-1. Back and forth ball game in this last inning. 3-1 pitch inside once again as it almost drills Pavkovich. Second ball, bases on balls issued by Hernandez so far this afternoon. That'll bring up Ranzel Melgarejo. And the day is done now for Felix Hernandez as he will hand the ball off to 66ers skipper Darren Brown. So Hernandez's struggles continue in the daylight. He will be lifted in favor of a left-handed pitcher, presumably Cesar Jimenez. We'll get the word for you when we come back. The Quakes leading the Sixers now 7-6 in the bottom of the fifth.
Your attendance team now taking number 54, Cesar Jimenez.
Cesar Jimenez comes in relief of Felix Hernandez. Jimenez with a mark of 1-2 and a 3.14 ERA. This will be his 11th appearance, all of them coming out of the bullpen. Opponents hitting .255 against him. He's given up 5 earned runs and 14 in the third inning. 14 hits in that time. 12 strikeouts against 2 walks. Felix Hernandez, meanwhile, walks 3 and strikes out only 2. The first time this year that he gave up more walks than he registered strikeouts. And a rarity for the 66ers starting staff, if it's happened at all. Ranzel Melgarejo will be the first to face the lefty Jimenez. Runner on first, nobody out. Quakes up 7-6. And Hernandez still responsible for the man on first. Melgarejo gets a bunt down to Jimenez fields, throws the ballette at first base. That'll be a sacrifice for Melgarejo, and Pavkovich moves up to second. 1-3 on the putout will bring up B.J. Weed. For Melgarejo on the year, that is his third sacrifice. It'll bring up B.J. Weed, who has flown out to left field twice. 66ers staff came in with a 3.2 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio, by far the top in the Cal League. That average will certainly take a dip here today, unless Jimenez becomes a strikeout machine here. Pitch on the way, it's inside. 1-0 to count. Weed, the 9-hole hitter. He's batted in 5 different positions in the lineup so far this year. Lead off, second, 7th, 8th, and 9th. The 1-0 by Jimenez is fouled off as it was in on the hands. Bounces off the screen behind the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Weed has fared a whole lot better against lefties than righties this year. 105 points better against southpaws at 367. Pavkovich walked after the home run by Gates to put the Quakes back on top. He moved up to second on the sacrifice by Melgarejo. The 1-1 is inside the Weed. It's now 2-1. We last saw Cesar back on Tuesday against High Desert at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. Cesar wants a new ball here. He pitched an inning in that ball game. Faced 6 batters, gave up 1 hit, striking out 2, did not give up a run or a walk. The defense playing straight away here for Inland Empire. The stretch in the 2-1 by Jimenez, grounded toward the third baseman. Guzman, he booted it. Went right through his leg. Weed will reach first on the second error of the game by Jesus Guzman. Staying put at second base was Pavkovich. The ball didn't roll far enough away for him to advance. Really the first game this year that we've seen Guzman perform poorly out in the field. He also bobbled another ball that was sharply hit to him that he managed to pick up and throw to first base in time to get the runner. Here's Reggie Willits at the plate. Second error of the ball game here for Inland Empire. Willits steps out of the box. Jimenez comes set. Rivera setting up inside. The pitch goes inside, but a little bit too far, and it's 1-0. Willits has reached base all 3 times up to bat. Reached on an error, got hit by a pitch, and doubled to left. Got caught up in that rundown last inning after doubling. That ball hit to the second baseman, Rancho. Over to Gonzalez for 1 at second base, on to first base for the double play. So the 66ers able to get out of a big jam here in the 5th inning of play. Already gave up the 2-run home run to David Gates to surrender the lead, but no extra damage is done. In the inning, the Quakes get 1 hit, the home run by Gates. They score 2 runs. 1 error by the Sixers, and 1 runner left on base. We will head to the 6th inning of play. 66ers will have to play from behind once again, trailing 7-6.
Happy birthday to Steve Esquez and Cook. Happy birthday to Brian Marshall and Brent Barrio. To Elizabeth Overnoff, Darren Estrada, Jenna Isbell, Brianna Meyer. Happy birthday to Kyle Hill, Alex Taylor, Rory Bailey, Nathan Denny, and Mia Campini, Paul Ortiz. Happy anniversary to Kim and Jake Suicide. And a very special group with us today, too. The Vineyard Junior High Chorus. The Rancho Cucamonga Spirit. Parent Elementary. Eubanks Elementary. Vineyard Junior High School. The Fairmont Little League Orioles. The Fairmont Little League Indian Angels. The San Diego Pony Giants. Fontana American Little League. Van Green Little League. Algaloma Little League. The Chino National Little League. The Corona Pony League. Cocina National Little League. Montclair Little League. American Little League. The Acadian Little League. Southwest American Little League. Aruba National Angels. Texas Little League. Upland Hilltop Great Open.
'66ers came from behind by a 5-run margin to take the lead last inning. They now find themselves down by a single run as we head to the 6th inning. 7-6 in favor of the Quakes. Dustin Griffith remains in the ballgame. He faces Carlos Arroyo. Here to lead off the 6th and delivers high for ball 1. Third baseman Paskovich halfway up. Ball screened to the first baseman. Greg Porter dives on top of it and flips to Griffith covering for the first out. Final line on Felix Hernandez. He goes 5+ innings. He faced 3 batters he goes 4+. Faced 3 batters in the 5th without getting an out. Gave up 6 runs, 4 of them earned on 6 hits. 2 strikeouts, 3 walks. That was the most runs he's given up this season. The most earned runs he's given up this year. As the pitch to Rene Rivera misses outside, 1-0. The 3 walks were a season high. And the 2 strikeouts tied a season low. Griffith misses outside. The count now 2-0. So Rene now with just 9 strikeouts in his last 3 starts. 2-0 pitch is foul to the top of the screen behind the plate. 2-1. Hernandez, as of the moment, the pitcher of record for Inland Empire. And the best he can hope for is a no decision. And now starter Phil Wilson for Rancho has been taken off the hook. Pitch to Rivera upstairs around the letters. The count now 3-1. Griffith came in to face 1 batter in the 5th. It was Peachy Ballette and got him to fly out to center field to end a disastrous 5th. Rivera pops one up above us, and the count now moves to 3-2. 66ers sent 10 men to the plate last inning as 6 runs came across on just 4 hits. '66ers as the 3-2 to Rivera is lofted foul out of play, back of first. Sixers have now scored at least 6 runs in a ball game 18 times this year. The 10th time they have done it on the road. 6 runs on just 6 hits. The 3-2 to Rivera reaches out and flies one out into right field. Mel Guerrejo ranging over and will squeeze it for the second out here in the 6th. There comes Young Cho, who had an RBI single last time around, driving in Rene Rivera. 1 for 2, had a fly out back in the 2nd inning. Right-hander versus right-hander. Pitch on the way, and it is outside, 1-0. The Quakes used 5 pitchers yesterday, all of them throwing from the right-hand side. The 1-0, into right field it goes on a hop. Second base hit of the game for Young Cho. He makes a big turn as Willits was slow to get to the ball, but Young wisely will head back to first. So he keeps the inning alive with a 2-out single, and we'll go back to the top of the order for Juan Gonzalez. Cho now with 13 hits on the year. Here comes Juan Gonzalez to the plate. Gonzalez is 1 for 3 with a single and a pair of groundouts. First pitch by Griffith misses outside. It's 1-0. Gonzalez stealing home last inning on a fake to third, go to first, and they had the runner Harris caught up between first and second. Gonzalez broke for home as the 1-0 misses away. And a bad throw from the first baseman, Greg Porter, which probably wouldn't have beat Gonzalez even if it had been on line, was a little bit up the third baseline and well in front of the plate. Here's the 2-0 on the way. Chopped high to second base on the outfield grass is Weed, who makes the throw in time to get Gonzalez. And Juan still hobbling. Something is wrong, it looks like, with the back of his left leg. And the leadoff man of the game, Gonzalez was. He grounded to the shortstop, hobbled all the way, and hasn't looked the same out there since. And we can only hope and pray that nothing is wrong with Juan now. 66ers get one hit here in the sixth. They leave Cho on base. No errors by the Quakes. We'll head to the bottom of the frame. 7-6. Inland Empire trailing Rancho.
All right, Christian. You're ready. Here we go. Number 1. He's on board. He's got it. All right. Here comes number 2. There he goes. Oh, very close. Here comes number 3 for Christian. I said, here comes number 3 for Christian. Brave organization. What do we do with Christian? Jimenez. Look at here from Jimenez. All right, well, you don't have that field on your team. Look at this. He needs to send us up pitching that. And don't think to stop by a whole enchilada restaurant. Okay, kids, call number. It's almost time to start lining up for the run the bases out the stage. And if you're a member of the Trembler Booster Club, you get free privileges and early lineup and night. And I'll be back out of the water in just a second.
Number 3, Erick Aybar.
Cesar Jimenez stays in the ball game. He will face Erick Aybar, Michael Napoli, and Jared Abruzzo. 66ers down by a score of 7-6 as we enter the home half of this sixth inning. Jimenez working out of a windup. Erick Aybar at the plate. Corner infielders are in. One step onto the infield grass. Called first strike. Nothing in one to count to Aybar. He was 1 for 3 with a single, a ground out, and he also reached on a fielder's choice. He pops one up to the left side of the infield. Jesus Guzman just off the mound will make the catch for the first out. One down, here comes Michael Napoli. And Napoli had an RBI double and 2 strikeouts against Felix Hernandez. This will be his first time facing Jimenez. Lefty versus righty, pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Napoli, 375 hitter against lefties this year as a team. The Quakes hitting 281 off of southpaws. Big swing, no contact once again. It's 0-2. This at-bat going by in the blink of an eye here. Jimenez right back to work. The 0-2 on the way, swing and a miss. Struck him out. Michael Napoli has gone down swinging 3 times this afternoon. My goodness gracious. 3 pitches in about the course of 15 seconds. Here comes Jared Abruzzo. Napoli now has struck out 10 times in his last 5 games. Jimenez looking into Rivera for the sign. Goes into the windup and delivers on the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Abruzzo with a double, a walk, a ground out, and a run scored. Next delivery, missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cesar Jimenez working very quickly here as that pitch is fouled to the screen. 2 outs, nobody on, 66ers down. By a one-run margin at 7-6. Quakes with 8 hits in the ball game. They had a season low 5 hits yesterday. The 1-2 bounces up there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. In the 4 games prior to last night, the Quakes had been batting .336 with 28 runs. Pushed us the 2 spot on the board last night in the 10-inning loss. 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Back to the screen it goes. Abruzzo spent some time on the DL this year. We did not see him in the first series against Inland Empire. Went 0 for 4 yesterday with a strikeout. 0 for 4 in his last game. As the pitch misses low from Jimenez. 3-2 pitch, missed inside, ball number 4. Abruzzo draws a walk, the first issued by Jimenez, and it'll bring up Greg Porter. Porter with that big 2-run blast in the 3rd inning. That put the Quakes up at the time 4-0. He's also walked and scored and grounded out. 2 for 3 in the ball game. Jimenez paints the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Porter with his 2nd home run of the year. Now with 19 runs driven in. The 0-1 check swing. Did he hold up on the appeal? No, he did not, says base umpire Brandon Cooney. And it's 0-2. Actually, that's Jeremy Sparling working the bases today. So the 0-2 pitch is well outside. Bad ball from Jimenez, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Porter, surprisingly, hitting a lot better off of lefties, even as a left-handed batter. 407 versus southpaws as opposed to 284 versus righties. Another pitch foul to the mesh, and the count remains 1-2. This is the 3rd and final game of this series. The rubber match with Rancho taking the game on Friday and the Sixers winning in extra innings yesterday. Jimenez misses away, and it's 2-2. Quakes have already played in 16 games decided by 1 or 2 runs this year. They're 8-8 in those games, 6-4 at home. Called 3rd strike on the outside corner. Beautiful delivery from Cesar Jimenez, just on the money. So Porter looks at a 3rd strike, 2nd strikeout in the inning for Jimenez. The 1 walk by Abruzzo, no hits in the inning for the Quakes, no errors by the Sixers. Abruzzo left on first base to end the frame. We have played 6 complete. We'll head to the 7th here at the Epicenter. It's 7-6 in favor of the Quakes. Sixers trail the Quakes 7-6 as we head to the 7th inning of play here at the Epicenter. Checking the out-of-town scoreboard today, Milwaukee defeating Atlanta 4-1. The win going to Ben Sheets in that one. Mets defeat the Astros 3-2. Was Florida over St. Louis by a final of 3-2. Colorado a 7-6 winner over Philadelphia. Dustin Griffith remains in the ball game, facing Jesus Guzman. to lead off the 7th here. Guzman with a double, a walk, and a strikeout. Righty versus righty, pitch on the way, and it misses inside, 1-0. Cubbies a 4-2 winner over the Padres at Petco Park. Here's the 1-0, breaking ball left upstairs. Guzman with a fly ball out in the left. Routine play for David Gates as he squeezes it for the first out. Here comes Gary Harris to the plate. Pittsburgh big time over San Francisco, 8-1. The final score there. Dodgers drop one to the Reds, 6-3. Montreal 6-1 winners over Arizona. And we'll check the AL scoreboard for you in just a moment. Here's the left-handed hitting Harris at the plate. The third baseman Papkowitz playing off at the bag. Harris fouls one off his foot, and it's 0-1. Gary in this ball game, 1 for 3. A single, a stolen base, a pop-up. Also reached on a fielder's choice. He has 2 stolen bases in this ball game to go along with an RBI. 0-1 on the way to Gary Harris is down low. 1 ball and 1 strike. It was Toronto over Boston. 3-1 the score there. The 1-1 pitch is fouled off back at third. 1-2 the count. The Yankees defeat the Mariners 2-1. Detroit over Texas. 3-1 the score there. Cleveland all over Tampa Bay 10-0 as the pitch comes in on Harris. Count now moves to 2-2. Oakland 6-2 winners over Kansas City. The White Sox wallop the Twinkies 11-0. The 2-2 pitch bounced off the plate, rolling toward the first base side. Strong throw from Napoli, just got Harris by a quarter of a step. Bang bang play at first base. 2-3 on the play, 2 outs in the inning, base is empty. Here comes T.J. Bond.
That's great. I like it.
The Angels will play tonight against Baltimore. Game scheduled for 5 o'clock. Here's TJ at the plate, swings at the first pitch and misses. 0-1. TJ hoping to avoid the golden sombrero here. He has struck out 3 times. Gone down swinging in every one of his at-bats. The 0-1 on the way. Called strike, and it ain't looking good. 0-2. First time he will face Griffith here. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Well, he'll avoid it as he bounces one into left field, getting by Erick Aybar. Threading the needle on that one. First base hit of the ball game for T.J. Bond. That'll bring up Matt Rogelstead to the plate. Just the second hit off of Griffith. In 2 2/3 innings. Excuse me, in an inning and 2/3. It'll bring up Matt Rogelstead now. He had an RBI single to put the 66ers up at the time 6-5. Throw over to first base. Diving back in is T.J. Bond. '66ers starting the day up 6 games over Rancho in the standings. There goes Bond on the pitch. Swing and a miss by Rogelstead. Throw down to Aybar is high, and that'll be a stolen base for T.J. Bond. Swipe number 4 for Bond. That is the 4th stolen base of the ball game for Inland Empire. 2 by Gary Harris. The steal of home by Juan Gonzalez. And now Bond as well. Now they're going to send him back to first. Erase that. It must have been a foul tip by Rogelstead, is the only thing I can imagine with the ball hitting the dirt. Top 0-1 to Rogelstead. I can't imagine what happened there. We'll find out soon enough. Called strike on the outside corner, 0-2. Time was called. Well, it certainly wasn't called by the home plate umpire, so I can only imagine that Jeremy Sparling called timeout in the field. 0-2, a pitch out, nothing doing. So T.J. Bond still at first base with 2 outs, and the count now 1-2 to Matt Rogelstad. An RBI single, the only hit for Matt in this ball game, was robbed of an RBI single on a diving play by David Gates made in the 4th. As the pitch bounces up there on Napoli, count now even at 2-2. And he flew out cleanly to David Gates in his other time up at bat. Sixers were down 5-0 after 4. Put a 6 spot up on the board in the 5th. Quakes came back with 2 in their half of the 5th and now lead 7-6. We are currently in the top of the 7th inning. Here's the 2-2, Bond going, pitch inside. It's a one-hopper down to Aybar, not nearly in time. So put the stolen base back on the board for T.J. Bond. 3-2 the count. Mike Napoli, 6th best in the Cal League among all catchers in stolen base efficiency. But the Quakes, as a backstop squad between Napoli, Abruzzo, and Ryan Buddy, are 9th in the league in that category. Time is called once again. Waiting on deck is P.T. Ballett. Matt Rogelstad now has a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Griffith coming set. Looks back towards second. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Got him on a nice breaking ball that tailed inside on Rogelstad. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Bond left on second base. It is stretch time here at the epicenter. 66ers trailing the Quakes 7-6.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for the 7th inning stretch. While we get our blood flowing a little bit, sing. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Come on, I gotta hear it. Buy me some peanuts and crackers and I don't care if I ever get back for this week. Look good for the Quakes now. If they don't win, it's a shame. Come on, for it's great back around the old ball game.
Cesar Jimenez begins his 3rd inning of work. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. 66ers down to the Quakes 7-6. First batter will be David Gates, who is already 3 for 3. He slices one hard to the third baseman Guzman, who boots another one right through the wicket. Error number 3 on Jesus, who has had a devil of a time out at third base today. Well, the 19-year-old Venezuelan has looked so good since being called up a couple of weeks ago. I guess you had to throw a bad game in there at some point, and well, he's getting all of it today. There's Adam Pavkovich at the plate. Jimenez this year has not worked more than 3 innings in any ball game. Bunt laid down by Pavkovich, fielded by Jimenez, and it bounces over his glove. Sacrifice for Pavkovich and an error on Jimenez. Second straight error for Inland Empire. 66ers came in playing so well defensively, only committing 1 error in their last 7 games. Now 4 in this one. 44 errors total on the year now. And the 66ers have now committed 32 errors in their 23 road games. Well, you hope this doesn't come back to bite you, but you can only expect it. Nobody out, 2 on. Ranzel Melgarejo at the plate. Melgarejo sacrifices last time up. He's up there to do the same this time as Jimenez misses inside. 1-0 the count. Boy, it becomes mental for you at this point if you're Jesus Guzman. Jimenez will rub down the ball a little bit here. We have action in the Sixers bullpen. Miguel Martinez getting loose down there. A righty warming up in the Quakes pen. Pitch on the way. And throw down to second after Melgarejo offered up. They are able to pick off David Gates at second base. Melgarejo may have just gotten a piece of that one, but in either case, Rivera hung on. So even in the case of a foul tip, the ball stays alive. Snap throw down to second base, where the tag was applied by Young Cho. Boy, that is a humongous out. Pavkovich remains at first. 1-1 the count to Melgarejo. Here's the pitch from Jimenez. Melgarejo shows bunt once again and almost jumped in front of it as it came inside on him. 2 balls and 1 strike. Melgarejo with that sacrifice in the 5th, now with 3 total sacks on the year. Maybe Von Sturzbach warming up there in the Quakes pen down the left field line. Jimenez delivers a 2-1, and it's on the inside corner. That'll even up the count at 2-2. And that is, in fact, Von Sturzbach warming up. Rivera will set up just a bit inside. 2-2 on the way. It's a soft bouncer to the shortstop, Juan Gonzalez. Underhand toss for 1 over to first. They cannot complete the double play. But the lead runner, Pavkovich, is taken off the base pass. He raced on a 6-4 play. Melgarejo reaches on a fielder's choice. And he is now 0 for 3 today with an RBI. Here is B.J. Weed, and if the Sixers can pull a Houdiniac and escape out of this one, more credit to him. Because it looked like it was going to be disaster there. But they are not out of the woods yet. 2 outs in the inning, runner on first with Weed coming to the plate. He is 0 for 3, flown out a couple of times and reached on one of the 3 errors committed by Jesus Guzman today. The lefty Jimenez pitching to the righty Weed. BJ shows bunt, pulls back, and it falls in the zone for a called strike, 0-1. Still have to respect the bunting ability of Weed even with 2 outs in the inning. Seven to 6 in favor of Rancho. Time is called as Weed steps out. 66ers will get the day off tomorrow, their first day off in 35 days. This is their 34th game in a row. The 0-1 misses low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sixers will then travel to High Desert for 3 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It'll be right-hander T.A. Fulmer for the 66ers in the opener on Tuesday, facing lefty Eric Henderson, who got knocked around last week in San Bernardino. Jimenez will throw over to first base, trying to keep Melgarejo honest. Count still 1-1 to Weed. Rich Dorman will go on Wednesday for the 66ers against lefty Manny Parra, who we also saw in San Bernardino last week. There goes Melgarejo, hit and run, line drive to Juan Gonzalez at short, about 2 steps towards second base. So the 66ers escape after the Quakes had their first 2 men reach on errors. No hits in the inning. 2 errors, 1 runner left on base. We have completed 7 innings here at the Epicenter, 7-6 in favor of Rancho.
And he gets a 1-8.
The Quakes will send out to the mound their third pitcher of the game, righty Austin Bilkey. We saw Bilkey back in the series opener on Friday. Pitched an inning of 1-hit shutout ball, striking out 2 while walking none. He will face Peachy Ballette, Carlos Arroyo, and Rene Rivera. Dustin Griffith comes out after pitching 3 innings of shutout baseball. Surrendering only 2 hits, he struck out 1, did not walk any 66ers, and he now becomes the pitcher of record, temporarily eligible for the win for the Quakes. Peachy Ballette, Carlos Arroyo, and Rene Rivera due up here for Inland Empire. Bilkey on the year 0-1 with a 5.40 ERA. This will be his 16th game out of the pen. He has recorded a team-high 6 saves. First pitch on the way. It is low for ball number 1. Bilkey has worked 16 and 2/3 innings, giving up 10 earned runs on 19 hits. Struck out 11 while walking 6. The 1-0 pitch to Ballette. Hit sharply towards the shortstop. Aybar fields it cleanly behind the bag and throws to first to retire Ballette. Here comes Carlos Arroyo to the plate. Bilkey tied for 3rd in the Cal League with those 6 saves. Currently tied for 5th. Now tied for 4th with his 16th appearance of the year. Here comes the left-handed hitting Carlos Arroyo. Base is empty, pitch on the way, and it's outside for ball number 1. We have not seen, I'll go back here, check to see when the last time the 66ers faced a lefty in this series was the first pitcher for the Quakes back on Friday, Daniel Davidson. Everybody else has been a righty. 1-0 on the way. It is upstairs and outside. 2-0 to count. Arroyo so far in this ball game is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Grounded out and flown out. 2-0 is downstairs. 3-0 the count to Carlos Arroyo. First batters this year hitting .286 off of Bilkey coming out of the pen. Arroyo was heading down to first base. Brandon Cooney telling him to stay put with a called strike. It's 3-1. Pitch offered up, and it's well outside, and Carlos Arroyo draws his second walk. One out walk for Carlos. It'll bring up Rene Rivera. Rene with a 2-run double and a pair of flyouts. Also scored a run. Now those 2 runs driven in, the first 2 runs put on the board by the Sixers in that 6-run 5th inning. 6 hits, or rather 6 runs, 8 hits, 4 errors for the Sixers. Throw over to first base. Inland Empire has left 4 runners on so far. The Quakes 7 runs, 8 hits, no errors. And they have left 8 runners on. They stretch in the initial offering to Rivera. Knee high for a called strike, 0-1. All 6 of the 66ers runs have been earned. 5 out of the 7 Quakes runs have been earned. Throw over to first base. Back in standing is Arroyo. Quakes got on the board in the bottom of the first inning. Willits reached on an error, stole second, moved up to third on a ground out, doubled in by Michael Napoli. Napoli then singled home by David Gates to give the Quakes a 2-0 lead. Another throw over to first base draws a slide from Carlos Arroyo. Quakes piled on another 3 in the third. Leadoff double by Jared Abruzzo came around to score on the home run over the right field wall by Greg Porter. David Gates followed up with another double and was driven in on a fielder's choice RBI by Ranzel Melgarejo to give the Quakes a 5-0 lead after 3. 0-1 the count to Rene Rivera. 1 out in the inning. Carlos Arroyo down at first. Sixers down by a solitary run. Throw to the plate is a pitch out. Throw down to first. Arroyo back in standing. 1-1. Sixers took the lead in the top of the 6th inning. Peachy Ballette led off getting hit by a pitch. Moved up to second when Carlos Arroyo was walked. They were both doubled in by Rene Rivera. Rene then knocked in on a Hyung Cho single to make it 5-3. There goes the runner. The ball is popped up to the right side. Weed underneath it. Should be a double play. And the throw wide of the bag at first. Did Porter hold it? He did. Well, sometimes you'll get that with the hit and run, and not much the Sixers could do about that one. Double play turn for Rancho. Sixers get no runs on no hits, no Quakes errors, and no men left on base. The Sixers have now lined or flied into 10 double plays this year. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's still 7-6 in favor of Rancho.
Okay. We'll have to draw that name. How many teachers got? It's the teacher run. There's nothing wrong with you, but I got confused. Oh, very simple, folks. All right, red girls on the dugout. They got teacher. Be on the lookout. Marcus run for the teacher run. Here they go. They're running out of the stand. All you gotta do is look up one of those track girls, and you can get a free teacher. Isn't that simple? Here we go. And remember, there's only one place to go down with my car. It is the Mark Whitford Auto Center. Austin and Vineyard.
New hurler for the Sixers. It is lefty Miguel Martinez taking the place of Cesar Jimenez, who did a terrific job for Inland Empire out here today. Martinez will face Reggie Willits, Erick Aybar, and Mike Napoli. Here's the windup in the pitch from Martinez. It is outside for ball number 1. Last saw Martinez back on the 10th. That was on Monday against High Desert. Misses outside, and then upstairs it's 2-0. Went an inning against the Mavericks. Faced 3 batters, struck out 1, did not give up a hit. The 2-0 on the way to Willits. Fly ball out in the right field. Bond trailing over toward the line. He'll make the routine catch. That's 1 down. Martinez coming in with a 1-0 mark, 2 saves, a 4.91 earned run average. Striking out 15 while walking only 3, but he has given up 2 home runs. 6 earned runs total in 11 innings worth of work. 8 hits in that time frame. Here comes Erick Aybar. He's 1 for 4, has reached twice on a single and a fielder's choice. Breaking ball, in there for a called strike, belly high. 0-1 the count. Next pitch in there for a called strike as well. It's 0-2. Jimenez came in with nobody out and a runner on in the 5th inning. That ball is slicing down the left field line. It will be a fair ball and extra bases for Erick Aybar. Arroyo tracks it down near the foul pole, and Aybar will go strolling into second. A 1-out double, and it'll bring up to the plate Mike Napoli.
Number 12, Mike Napoli.
Napoli in this ball game with an RBI double and 3 strikeouts. Jimenez got Melgarejo to sacrifice. Followed up on a B.J. Weed ground ball to third that Jesus Guzman booted. He then got Willits to ground into a double play to end the inning. And Jimenez did not issue a single hit. Did not surrender a single hit, I should say. He goes 3 innings. No runs, no hits, a walk and a strikeout. The starter, Felix Hernandez, went 4 innings, plus he faced 3 batters in the 5th without getting an out. Pitch upstairs to Napoli, 1-0. Gave up all 7 runs, 5 of them earned on 8 hits. Struck out 2, walked 3. Martinez, a lefty, against Napoli, the right-handed hitter. The 1-0 was upstairs, and it's fouled back. Well out of place, 1 ball and 1 strike to Mike Napoli. Looks like the ball bounced off the upper level, off the awning, above the upper seats, came back down, and a fan caught it. That's what the cheering is about. Not about that swing from Napoli as he misses it 1 inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Napoli has driven in a league-leading 39 runs this year. One out, Erick Aybar on second base. Martinez comes set, looks back towards second. Gonzalez shading him. There goes the runner, pitch is fouled back. Count remains 1-2. Napoli coming in, hitting .412 in his last 9 games with 4 home runs and 13 runs driven in that time. He awaits the 1-2 from Miguel Martinez. It's on its way. It's a breaking ball, lifted high into right field, but playable. Bond drifting over toward Harris. Well, he will make the catch. Aybar tagging. Here comes the throw from T.J. Bond. It's up the left field line. So Aybar advances 90 feet. Napoli flies out to right. And the 66ers have limited him to just one hit in this ball game, which is an accomplishment, really, when you think about how Napoli has been hitting the ball this year. Here's Jared Abruzzo with 2 outs and a runner on third, and the Sixers down 7-6 here in the bottom of the 8th. Abruzzo doubled, scored a run, walked twice, and has a ground out. First pitch on the way from Martinez, a breaking ball in there for a called strike, 0-1. After the 2-run double by Rivera and the RBI single by Young Cho, the Sixers trailed 5-3. Juan Gonzalez singled. Jesus Guzman walked. A couple of runners for the Sixers got caught up as the ball scoots through Rivera, and coming home to score will be Erick Aybar. It looked like on the play, Abruzzo may have shielded Rivera as he put his bat out in front of him in an attempt to bunt. Pulled it back, and I don't think Rivera saw it coming. And it'll be a pass ball on Rene Rivera. That'll give the Quakes an 8-6 lead. In any case, Juan Gonzalez stole home in the 5th as Harris moved up to second. Harris had already knocked in Young Cho to make it a 5-4 ball game. Gonzalez tied it up at 5-5 as Martinez throws the strike. It's 1-2. And Matt Rogelstead with an RBI single to left brought home Harris to give the 66ers a lead at 6-5. Quakes got a tear back in the bottom of the inning as that ball is driven way out of here. Oh my goodness gracious. That is a moonshot over the left field fence and out of the park. That ball must have traveled a good 400 plus feet. Home run by Jared Abruzzo, the 3rd round tripper of the ball game for the Quakes, and it's now 9-6. That ball flew off the bat like it had somewhere to go and had to be there in a hurry. Nine to 6 now. Inland Empire down as Greg Porter comes to the plate. Home run number 3 for Abruzzo. Pitch on the outside corner, 0-1. Coming in, the Sixers had allowed just 1 home run in their last 77 innings, and that was to Rancho as Mike Napoli blasted one out the other day. 66ers also had another long home runless streak broken up by Rancho in the earlier series this year. And now 3 home runs today by the Quakes. The 0-1 misses outside, as does the 1-1. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike to Greg Porter, who went yard earlier in the game as well. 1 for 3 with a home run, a walk, 2-run scored, a strikeout, and a ground out. For Jared Abruzzo, now 5 multi-hit games for him in just 8 games played as Martinez gets one knee high for a called strike. Base is empty, 2 outs. And that pitch is roped into right field. Quakes knocking around Miguel Martinez a little bit here in the 8th. 2nd straight hit, 3rd in the inning for the Quakes. And now David Gates will climb into the batter's box. Martinez has given up 3 bombs on the year so far. Gates had the other home run for the Quakes to put them back up in the bottom of the 5th. It followed a Greg Porter leadoff walk. That gave the Quakes a 7-6 lead at the time. Martinez delivers the first pitch. It's down and in as Rivera jumps on top. 1-0 the count. '66ers took a 2-0 lead into the bottom of the 9th yesterday before the Quakes got on the board to make it 2-2 and send it into extra innings. Sixers will have to do the same here in their half of the 9th. That pitch is popped up. Shallow right field. Going back is Cho. He'll be called off by a charging T.J. Bond, who makes the squeeze for the final out. But not before the Quakes tack on a couple of insurance runs that they very well might need in the end. A home run by Abruzzo accounts for the 2 runs in the inning. The Quakes get 3 hits overall, no Sixer errors, and 1 runner left on base. We will head to the 9th and final inning. The 66ers trail the Quakes 9-6. Couple of changes here for Rancho in the 9th inning. It'll be Young Cho, Juan Gonzalez, and Jesus Guzman due up for Inland Empire. New pitcher is Von Sturzbach, a right-hander, and a new second baseman as well. Taking the place of B.J. Whedon, batting out of the 9th spot, will be Javier Rodriguez. Von Sturzbach's last appearance came on Thursday against Visalia when he picked up the save going an inning and a third. Did not give up a single hit, struck out 3, did not walk an Oak either. 66ers trailing 9-6 here in the top of the 9th. Austin Bilkey went an inning, gave up a walk and nothing else. Here's Chung Cho to face Sturzbach. Pitch on the way. Chung Cho's bunt pulls back, and it's in there for a called strike, 0-1. Young with a pair of singles and an RBI, as well as a run scored and a fly out. He is 2 for 3. Second offering from Sturzbach is outside. Vaughn this year does not have a decision. He is not allowed an earned run, and now his 4th appearance. Breaking ball left up in the zone, a 3-hopper to the shortstop Aybar, strong throw to first, and that's 1 down. Sturzbach has now gone 4 2/3 innings. He has given up a run, but as I mentioned, it was not earned. 3 hits, striking out 7 while walking 2. 66ers down to their final 2 outs. Here's Juan Gonzalez. A single and a steal of home. He's 1 for 4. And has not gotten the ball out of the infield today. First pitch is upstairs, 1-0. Gonzalez hobbled down the first base line on a ground out in the first inning. And we've seen him playing a little bit slower than usual here today. Throughout the course of the ball game as he fouls one off back at third. 1 ball and 1 strike. This will be a safe situation for Sturzbach. 1-1 pitch. Gonzalez shows bunt, and it rolls to the Quakes dugout. Count now moves to 1-2. Sixers will get the day off tomorrow, then travel to Adelanto for 3 games at Maverick Stadium against High Desert. Wind up in the 1-2 upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Meanwhile, the Quakes will embark on a 10-game road trip against Modesto, Stockton, and Lancaster. They'll play 14 of their next 17 on the road. Swing and a miss for Gonzalez, strike number 3. And the last hope for the 66ers will be Jesus Guzman. Fourth strikeout, That is now the 6th strikeout of the day for Quakes pitching. Guzman with a double and a walk has committed 3 errors out in the field. Here's the windup in the pitch from Bilkey, and it is outside, 0-1. 66ers have tied a season high with 4 errors here today. They also committed 4 errors against Lancaster back on April the 24th. The 1-0 in there for a called strike. On a fastball, it's 1-1. Gary Harris waits on deck if Guzman can keep the game alive. Sixers down by 3. The 1-1 pitch, called strike, and it's 1-2. Sixers made a valiant run of it, trailing 5-0. They never gave up and reclaimed actually got the lead for the first time, 6-5 in the top of the 5th. The 1-2 pitch bounces away, and it's 2-2. Quakes didn't let that last long, however, getting 2 back in the bottom of the 5th to reclaim the lead, tacked another deuce on the board in the bottom of the 8th, and that's where we stand right now at 9-6. 2-2 to Guzman from Sturzbach is grounded into right field. Jesus, with his second hit of the ball game, has reached for the 3rd time today and keeps the game alive, at least temporarily. Gary Harris will now come up. Harris a single, a couple steals, and an RBI. Sixers down to their final hope here. Sixers have not dropped a series to the Quakes in the last 7 series as Sturzbach delivers over the plate for a called strike, 0-1. 4 wins and 3 splits with the Quakes in the last 7 go-rounds. They're in jeopardy of dropping one here, obviously. The 0-1 on the way to Harris. Swing and a miss on an inside pitch. 0-2. The Quakes have only won 1 series at home so far this year. They're 1-2-2 here at the Epicenter in series. Sixers down to their final strike once again. Sturzbach comes set. Guzman at first, 2 outs. Pitch on the way. Harris nubs it foul about 5 feet up the third baseline. So we'll do it once again. Quakes trying to get back to 500 both overall and at home. 66ers started the day 2 games up on Lancaster in the South. No word on other Cal League scores here so far. The 0-2 pitch to Harris, swung on. It's a bouncer to the second baseman, Rodriguez, and on his first chance out there, flips to Aybar to get the lead runner, Guzman, and that'll do it here at the Epicenter. Sixers get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base here in the 9th inning. The final score, the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes 9, and the Inland Empire 66ers 6. Quakes get 9 runs, 11 hits, no errors, and they leave 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 men left on base. The Sixers in the loss with 6 runs, 9 hits, and a season-high tying 4 errors, and they leave 5 men on base in this ball game. The win will go to Dustin Griffith. The loss will be tagged to Felix Hernandez, and the save goes to Von Sturzbach. Griffith with the win moves to 2. Actually, he will move to 1-2 on the year. Hernandez with the loss will fall to 3-2, and Sturzbach will pick up save number 3. Once again, the final score here, 9-6. The 66ers trail 5-0 after 4. Got 6 runs in the 5th to take the lead, but it was not to be here today. Felix Hernandez struggled for the 3rd time in 3 day starts. He did not look sharp at all. Was pulled after 4+ innings. Gave up all 7 runs, 5 of them earned. 8 hits he allowed, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks, and did not look very dominant at all here today. Rancho takes the series 2-1. They will now head out on a 10-game road trip. 66ers will get their first day off in 35 days before heading to High Desert for a 3-game series. Well, that'll about do it here from the Epicenter. Once again, the final score 9-6 in favor of the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. For Mike Cesar, I'm Mike Wagenheim. We will talk to you once again on Tuesday from Maverick Stadium, where it will be T.A. Fulmer getting the start for Inland Empire, going up against lefty Eric Henderson for the High Desert Mavericks. That game will get underway at 7:05 p.m. and can be heard right here on SportsJuice.com. Goodbye from the epicenter where the final score, Rancho Cucamonga 9 and the 66ers 6.